right now on 5 on your side at 10.
A score in legislative overtime.
We have a chance to keep a Super Bowl winning franchise.
The play to keep the Chiefs and Royals in Missouri, and how it could be a home run for the Cardinals.
Weekend washout? No way. But it's not exactly a bright, beautiful weekend when the showers may challenge your outdoor plans.
Tonight, FEMA is back on the ground in St. Louis as some North City storm victims decide whether to rebuild or retreat.
We don't have the money here.
It's been nearly a month since the powerful EF3 tornado tore through St. Louis. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Of course, many of the survivors are still struggling to rebuild their lives. New at 10, Robert Townsend went back to North City to see how people are coping.
James Fain vividly remembers May 16th when a tornado roared through his North St. Louis neighborhood. The 63-year-old custodian tried to make it home to Elm Bank Avenue.
Trees and limbs and wires all down, so we had to make a detour all the way around to get to the house.
An hour and a half later, he got there and saw the storm ripped off part of the building's roof, blew out a back wall, and smashed windows on his lower-level apartment. The entire adjoining unit of the fourplex, where his neighbors lived, was destroyed.
Half of it tore down.
Nearly 1 month after the tornado hit, he's still living in his place. That's despite the fact Ameren partnered with the city and temporarily shut off the electricity here due to safety concerns. Plus, city inspectors put that red notice on his front door because they have structural concerns.
They put the sticker on the wrong door. Yes, sir, it's safe. I think it can be restored, and I don't have nowhere else to go.
Right now, dozens of storm-battered homes in this one area alone are eerily quiet. Neighbors say some people have been placed in hotels thanks to the Urban League. Others apparently staying with family or friends. Drive around this north side neighborhood and you'll see tornado survivors still living in tents like this one. They, like James Fain, don't want to leave their property for a variety of reasons.
I had a person come in and stole stuff from me Monday. He had a whole bag full of my wires, pipes, and everything, so that's why I had to stay here.
Just down the street,
this tornado here was devastating.
Angela Turner is moving out of her storm-damaged apartment building into a new place in Jennings.
Everybody got out safely. I thank God for everything.
Her neighbor,
I'm run off generator,
is staying put in the home that's been in his family for decades.
It's a hard situation, and I want to keep it in the family.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
FEMA teams are now on the ground in St. Louis helping people impacted by the May 16th tornado. This comes just 2 days after President Donald Trump approved a disaster declaration unlocking at least $71 million in FEMA funding. Homeowners and renters can now apply for housing grants and money for repairs or relocation. FEMA says it's important to be thorough when you describe your damage. We have all the information you need to know on how to file for FEMA aid. Just text the word FEMA to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link. The American Red Cross continues to shelter hundreds of people. The organization is also offering financial help, and officials say they have plenty of funds to distribute.
One thing that we are offering is financial assistance to those individuals who have had significant damage to their home or it was completely destroyed. So we're asking people who are wanting to see if they can apply and are eligible for that to go to redcross.org/gethelp.
Again, that website is redcross.org/gethelp. Applicants will be contacted within 14 days. Today, the Missouri House passed $100 million in disaster relief for St. Louis. Mayor Kara Spencer pledged to work with the state to oversee the fund's spending. The bill now headed to the governor's desk. He's expected to sign it. Turning now to the weather impact forecast, things are cooling down after a warm day. We still have not hit 90 degrees in 2025. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell says we may have to wait a little longer for that St. Louis summer heat.
Yeah, we will, but not the humidity. That's starting to creep back up, and dew points will really climb this weekend, and you'll notice it. How about that sunset tonight? With the high clouds rolling in, we did get some color out of that sun as it was setting tonight. High clouds will continue to roll in during the overnight hours. It's from this system down to the south. It's our next weather maker. As the winds have turned to the south, the humidity is starting to increase. You can feel that now. You will feel it more so tomorrow. and into the weekend when those dew points really come up. 88 was our high temperature for today. Three things to know. Tomorrow there's a slim chance for a shower, but those shower chances do ramp up some as we head into Friday and right into next week. But it looks like Friday into Saturday, probably the most likely time that we'll see those showers and thunderstorms. Some thunder, but severe storms unlikely. There's just not enough wind aloft. But you may need the rain gear at times, and it's not a washout, especially not on Father's Day. We'll show you that forecast, Mike, in just a few minutes.
All right, Scott. Right now, police are investigating a deadly shooting at an apartment complex in North St. Louis County. A man was found shot to death inside an apartment on Aresta Drive around 4 this afternoon. That's off 270 in Bellefontaine. Police have not told us if they have any suspects. Anyone with information, though, can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers. That number is 866-371-TIPS. Tonight, a former cheerleading coach is facing more child sex abuse charges, and police fear there could be more victims. Marco Zampier has been in jail in Jefferson County since December on statutory rape charges. Prosecutors say he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl at least 3 times in 2022. Now a woman has come forward claiming Zampier abused her back in 2013 when she was just 13 years old. At the time, he was her coach at a YMCA in St. Louis County. Investigators say she decided to speak up after learning about another victim. St. Louis County Police want to hear from anyone else who may have been abused. Tonight, anti-immigration protests are spreading across the country as ICE raids ramp up. Minutes ago, a curfew went into effect in Los Angeles, the epicenter of protests for the second straight night. In the last 6 days, more than 200 people have been arrested. A man authorities call a violent rioter is accused of punching a Customs and Border Protections officer in the face. The Justice Department also announced charges against 2 protesters for possessing Molotov cocktails. In the meantime, in Chicago, video shows a car speeding towards a crowd of protesters. People were seen scrambling to get out of the way. No one was seriously hurt, and the march did continue. No word on any arrests. Just hours ago, 2 protests against ICE raids took place here in St. Louis. Groups gathered near Union Station and over I-64 in Dogtown. 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski was at those demonstrations. She joins us now live downtown.
Mike, both of these protests were peaceful, and while they were on different sides of town, many of them had the same message. And the people I spoke with today say they felt reassurance knowing that they are not alone in this fight.
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace!
From the streets of downtown St. Louis to the Tam Avenue Bridge over I-64, hundreds of protesters filled the sidewalks to take action against recent decisions made by the Trump administration, including mass deportations and sending the military to Los Angeles without a request from the governor.
I've become more and more alarmed at the direction the country's going in.
What we do not believe in is rounding up, arresting and deporting innocent people.
Joan Lipkin says she's there because she doesn't want to see immigrants who've landed in St. Louis lose everything.
Immigrants are the future of St. Louis. Many of them are very hardworking, they pay taxes, they start businesses, they contribute, they bring us our culture. This is not who we are.
Kathy DeWine says supporting those businesses is important now more than ever and is just one way the community can help.
Talking to our representatives, our senators, doing things like this, helping to organize whatever needs to be done to get our voices heard.
Congressman Wesley Bell says he hears those concerns and is fully against what's happening in LA and beyond.
I believe it's unconstitutional. I think it's illegal, and I think it's wrong. And I think it is stoking the flames as opposed to calming tensions.
Andy Ayers says he hopes this encourages people to come together.
The level of support that seemed to be honking under us as we sat there was remarkable. And just the effort to make people think again or think some more about what's going on. And we demonstrated that there is something you can do.
St. Louis police were monitoring both protests. They said on X, everyone's safety is their priority while exercising First Amendment rights. There are some more protests planned in the coming days. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
Today marks 22 years since Christian Ferguson disappeared. The 9-year-old has never been found. Christian's father, DeJuan Ferguson, is now serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He was convicted in 2022 for his son's death. He told investigators his son was in the back of his SUV when it was carjacked. The SUV was later found, but no sign of Christian. A memorial service will be held tomorrow night at 5:15 at Calvary Bible Church of Florissant. It took overtime, but tonight the Missouri legislature has made a play to keep the Kansas City Chiefs and Royals from moving to Kansas. Tonight, the Show Me Sports Investment Act is on Governor Mike Kehoe's desk. The Missouri House passed the legislation today. It gives the state a bargaining tool and offer to use tax dollars generated at a stadium to pay for stadium projects.
Folks in Kansas City are pretty in love with our sports teams, and I think the idea of putting together a package that makes fiscal sense to the voters as well as makes economic sense to the region, I think it will be well received.
When it came down to crunch time, the Missouri legislature stepped up, passed what we needed to pass to give us a chance to keep the teams.
Neither the Chiefs nor the Royals have committed to staying in Missouri. Local cities or counties are required to chip in on stadium projects, meaning voters will likely have to approve a tax increase. The bill could benefit the St. Louis Cardinals as the franchise seeks to substantially upgrade the nearly 20-year-old Busch Stadium. More than $54 million worth of improvements are planned for the Dome at America's Center. The St. Louis Regional Sports Authority is using its slice of Rams settlement to fund the renovations to the 30-year-old stadium.
Is it something that could definitely improve our facility and make us, even, keep us in the game, as I would say, going out selling the building, being able to go attract different organizations to come and use our facility? It is. Could we use more? Absolutely.
The first phase of work will start later this year. It includes upgrades to the elevators, escalators, concession stands, suites, and locker rooms. A new marquee sign will be added along I-70 and Broadway.
A maternal bond helping to save lives.
To make sure that more babies and moms are living past the baby's first birthday.
Tonight, the mission of one group to overcome cultural stigmas and healthcare inequities. A favor from Flavor.
He was gracious enough to help me out.
The hip-hop help for a St. Louis mother and son forced out of their home after last month's tornado.
Still haven't hit 90 this summer, but we're closing in on it next week. And the humidity, it's on the way back now. We're timing out the rain chances as we head toward Father's Day.
Right now, a St. Louis organization is on a mission to improve black maternal health in the region. A recent study shows black moms and their babies are at a higher risk of dying after birth when compared to other groups. Tonight, our Justina Coronel shows us how one nonprofit makes an impact on mothers.
We need a village.
A village to raise her baby girl, Sonali, Destiny Gilliard's life.
Can you say, Mama?
Has forever changed.
I learned a lot about how a lot of the things that I went through as a single mom, a lot of mothers experienced it.
She knows she's not alone after joining a cohort with other black moms living in zip codes with the highest infant mortality rates. The organization, Foundation for Strengthening Families, leads the effort.
I say it's a life-saving strategy to make sure that more babies and moms are living past the baby's first birthday.
The program educates black moms on the benefits of breastfeeding.
I didn't know a lot about it. Only thing that I knew that it was just milk for me, and I heard that it was healthier, but I did not know all of the facts.
A 2023 study on breastfeeding rates shows black women are less likely to initiate breastfeeding. Studies suggest breastfeeding can reduce the risk of various health conditions in mothers.
Culturally, I don't think that it's something that was modeled for us. I don't think it was something that was shared with us.
An ACLU article attributed to several reasons, including cultural stigma, healthcare inequity, and lack of support. For the organization's executive director, Cortega Collins, education is essential. The cohort does just that.
Lactation professional, they learn all about the benefits of breastfeeding for 3 full months. That's all they talk about for 3 months of breastfeeding. We provide transportation for them to get here and to get home, and we provide meals for them.
And it focuses on nutrition and healthy living, as well as offering mental health support.
It's truly like an emotional bonding.
For Gilliard, breastfeeding wasn't always easy. At times when it felt heavy, it was her village carrying her to continue.
Create your why. Know why do you want to do it, and make sure that your why is extremely strong, because that's going to carry you through.
Justina Cornell, 5 on your side.
And the organization is looking for more moms to help. The next cohort opens in August and starts in January. If you'd like more information, just go to the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. Civil rights attorney and CNN analyst Bakari Sellers will be the keynote speaker for the St. Louis County NAACP annual Freedom Fund dinner this weekend. Sellers made history in 2006, becoming the youngest black elected official in the nation when he joined the South Carolina legislature at 22 years old. The annual dinner recognizes local leaders and activists who fight for equality and justice. It's the biggest fundraiser of the year for the St. Louis County branch.
Through philanthropy and support from the community, we are able to support many of the needs in our community, all the way down to creating college branch opportunities for our youth. This year, we're very proud. The past year, we formed our first college branch at Washington University, which we will highlight at this event.
The Freedom Fund dinner will be held at the Marriott Airport Hotel Saturday at 7 p.m. Tickets are still available. This is the 88th year of the event, and 5 on your sides, Brent Solomon will serve as MC. All right, Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell rejoins us now with the weather impact forecast, and we're looking ahead to some rain on the weekend.
You know, I think we've got showers around. We have some thunder potential. Not really much of a severe weather threat across our region. And I don't think we're going to have big time delays going in and out of Lambert if you have a flight scheduled this weekend. I know we're getting into that time of year where it's summer vacation season for sure. And your Father's Day weekend is this weekend. We also have the big Indy Bommarito 500 IndyCar race over at Worldwide Technology Raceway. City SC's playing. They take the pitch, I think, about 3:30 on Saturday. So look at your temperatures here. They're not at 90 degrees over the next 5 days. We did not hit 90 today, so we are in the top 20 for being the latest to do that. And it's been 30 years since we've had to wait this late to get to a 90-degree day. Now, as we track impacts here going into the weekend, showers, a few rumbles of thunder this weekend. We don't see a big severe weather threat, but we know you have outdoor plans and there's things going on. So you may have to adjust some of those plans. Lots of graduation parties happening. We get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. It's more of a summertime feel. There still could be some impact there as temperatures next week will climb closer to that 90-degree mark. It will be humid and there will be thunderstorm chances in the afternoon, but they'll be scattered. We have a system down to our south, and this little area of energy is meandering towards the north. You could probably feel the humidity increasing today. That trend continues tomorrow. You'll feel it as those dew points climb into the 60s and it gets a little more sticky. We start around 70 in town tomorrow. Dry conditions in the morning. As we head into the afternoon, there is a chance for a few isolated showers, particularly west of St. Louis. We don't think there'll be much. We don't think it's all that heavy. We go into Friday, better chances for seeing some showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder. But again, not a severe weather setup for St. Louis, and not a particularly long-lasting rain event either. At any given time, we probably don't have the rain lasting more than a couple of hours, and maybe even less than that as we head through Saturday and into Sunday. The main energy is shifting south and east of us. By Sunday, we're talking those temperatures in the mid-80s, some dry time, just a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms as we go into Sunday. Right now, we're still at 80 degrees in St. Louis. 88 was our high. Your next 7 days, there you go. Temperatures in the 80s right through Monday. And then we should get to 90 degrees as we head towards Tuesday and Wednesday. And that's more of your typical summertime pattern. Not only are we right around 90 for the afternoon high, but it's muggy, partly cloudy, and then you pop up those afternoon thunderstorms. Right now, though, there's no significant indications of severe weather anytime soon.
And we could use a break from all that.
Yes, we sure could.
Scott, thanks. Well, tonight, a St. Louis mother and her son who can't stay in their apartment since last month's tornado are getting some help from a famous rapper. Madison Bucca's apartment in the Academy neighborhood survived the May 16th storm. She believes the damage left behind is something that's now making her sick, and she also fears for her 5-year-old son who suffers from severe asthma. Madison's mom started a GoFundMe for them, and they saw a boost in donations once rapper Flavor Flav shared it online.
Reached out to his management team, and they were so quick to be like, I'm so sorry you're going through this. We would love to help. He loves to advocate for people that need some assistance, and he was gracious enough to help me out.
We have a link to the GoFundMe page in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. Frank Cusimano next with sports.
Mike, how would you like to be an Indy car driver and maybe not be the best driver in your own family? That story, the Cardinals, the NBA Finals, and we'll hear from the greatest golfer on the planet.
And at 10:30, the latest episode of Rennie on the Block will stream on 5+. This week, Rennie Knott heads to historic Main Street in St. Charles. You can watch for free through your Roku, Apple, Fire, and Samsung TV.
We probably shouldn't overreact after the Cardinals got swept by a really good Toronto team. No time to pout with the Birds about to begin a 4-game series with the Brewers, who they lead by just a half a game. Now, if you play catcher for the Cardinals, you hit. You just do. Joel Pozo, a solo shot that made it 2-0. And kudos to the fan making a wonderful catch right there. Matthew Liberatore gave up 8 hits in 5 innings, but 2 of the 3 runs he gave up came on sac flies. This one put Toronto up 3-2. A frustrating day at the plate for the Birds. Lars Nootbaar was back in the lineup after a night off. He should have taken the day off too. 5 at-bats, 4 strikeouts, 11 Ks total for the Birds. The Jays sweep the series 5-2.
We knew this series, more than any other series, was going to give us some trouble. The guys battled their ass off, and at the end of the day, they out-executed us. I mean, you look at their at-bats. They just did a really nice job putting the ball in play.
Learn from this series, evaluate it. What are some things we did well? What are some things that we can clean up? And then ultimately, after that, flush it. Just kind of move on to the next game.
It's easy to look at it and say we got swept, but 2 out of those 3 games were some of the most competitive games we've played all year. And 9 times out of 10, you come out and score 9 runs, you're going to win a ball game.
30,000 were at Nationals Park in D.C. for the congressional baseball game, and St. Louis well represented. Look at that piece of hitting by Senator Eric Schmidt. He came into this game 4 for 7 lifetime, and he stayed smoking hot. This is a double from the DeSmet grad, and the Republicans win it 13-2. NBA Finals Game 3 in Indianapolis, the greatest pacer of them all, Reggie Miller, and one of the greats of all time, Indiana native Oscar Robertson. And the Pacers broke the game open in the 4th. Obi Toppin with a thunderous putback dunk. Pacers win 116-107. They lead the series 2-1. The Bomberito 500 is coming Sunday night, and Scotty Connell is doing everything he can to make sure the weather will be good. If it rains, we all TP his house on Monday. My favorite driver is Graham Rahal. His father, Bobby, won the 1986 Indy 500. Graham knew he was entering the family business at a young age. He's married to Courtney Force, who was once an NHRA champion. They have 2 little girls with a 3rd child on the way. Graham is a diehard blues fan and is tight with Colton Parayko. He's won 6 times in his career, and today I asked him if he and Courtney ever debate on who's more skilled in the car.
You know, it used to come up more, but now we try to keep racing outside of it. I tell her all the time that I don't know, I tell her constantly that the going straight is the easy part. It's everything else that's hard. She doesn't appreciate that necessarily, but no, we try to keep that conversation outside of the relationship.
The U.S. Open begins tomorrow. I've been telling you for days about the difficulty of this Oakmont Country Club. They have 168 bunkers. One of the bunkers is 100 yards. 100 yards. I would be in the sand longer than Frankie Avalon and Annette Funicello. For the world's #1, Scottie Scheffler, do you realize that with a win this weekend, he could complete the career Grand Slam next month at the British Open, and the man is just 28. He's getting used to going into every tournament he plays as the favorite, but he says it doesn't matter what he does. He hears from fans.
I think everybody hears from fans, whether they have a financial benefit or anything in their outcome. That's why I had to get rid of my Venmo, because I was either getting paid by people or people were requesting me a bunch of money when I didn't win. It wasn't a good feeling. I don't remember the most that somebody would send me, maybe a couple bucks here or there. That didn't happen nearly as much as the request did.
And you can see that tournament all weekend long right here on
How can you not bet on him for this weekend? He just hits it so straight every time.
He's something else.
A fishy find the unexpected passenger on an ambulance. Diet Cherry Coke is making a comeback after more than 5 years. The flavor was first introduced in 1986. It will return in July for a limited time and only at Kroger-owned stores, which includes Ruler Foods locations here in the bi-state. Talk about a fish out of water. An EMS crew in Tennessee was headed back to their station when they heard some loud thuds on the roof of the ambulance. They found a bluegill flopping around. They put their life-saving skills to work and put the fish in some water. However, it died before they could get it back to the river. They believe the fish fell from the talons of a bird of prey. Wow. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m. And have a great and safe tomorrow.